All right, these are the answers to the dividing terms worksheet. What we want to do is kind of understand what this rule is, and if we were to expand x squared, if we were to expand x to the fifth, what we would notice is we'd have an x here that could cancel with an x here. We have an x here that could cancel with an x here. What that leaves us with, if I put like a times 1 there, what it leaves us with is 1 on the top over x to the third. These two x's cancel 2 of those, leave us with 3 on the bottom. That's what we want to end up with. Now there is a rule that says you could just subtract these exponents, right? And we could go 2 minus 5 and get negative 3. And then we want to understand that a negative exponent means that these 3 x's should have been on the other level. So right now they're up top, and so we drop them down to the bottom, change it to a positive exponent, and then this would be our answer. All right, and then this is what we end up with. And so we'll use that rule here. If we subtract 14 minus 14, we get 2 to the 0. We want to keep the base, just like we kept it x and x over here. We want to keep it 2 over here. And what we learned is that anything to the 0 power is just equal to 1. And we can kind of see that these 14 2's would cancel these 14 2's, all gone. The only thing that left would be 1. Anything divided by itself is always equal to 1. Okay. Over here, if I follow that rule, I'm going to go 10 minus 3, which is 7, and 3 minus 7, which is negative 4. So that's how it'll start. Again, a negative exponent means that these 4 y's should have been below. So we'll leave the x to the 7th there, but we'll drop those 4 y's, and then that's our answer there. When we get to 4, we see 8 and 16. So we want to treat this like a fraction. What would divide evenly into both 8 and 16? And that's an 8. So we'll end up with a 1 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. Okay, so just divide both of those by 8. Then I go 5 minus 9 is negative 4. 2 minus negative 4 is 6. Because of that negative, that's going to drop down there. So the y to the 6 times 1 will stay y to the 6 up top. And then we'll have 2x to the 4th on the bottom. Now, another way to approach it is to kind of look at here and say, okay, these 5 x's would cancel 5 of these x's, leave us with 4 left over on the bottom. It's kind of how I go about doing it sometimes. These negative 4y should have been up here, so you bring them up, and if you had brought those up, those 4 and these 2 together would make 6. You can go at it either way. It's up to you. So over here, again, what divides evenly into 4 and 6? And that would be 2. So that becomes 2/3. Again, these 2 a's cancel 2 of these a's, leave us with 2 a's on the bottom. This b knocks out 1 of these 4 b's, leaves us with 3 b's on the top. Or, if you'd rather, 2 minus 4 is negative 2. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then that drops down and becomes this. Over here, what divides evenly into 15 and 10? That would be 5, so we'll get 3 over 2. 15 divided by 5, 10 divided by 5. These 2 x's knock out 2 of those, leave us with 6 x's, and they would be on the bottom. Why are they on the bottom? Because there were more on the bottom. If you thought of this stretching out, there would be 6 x's left, but they'd all be on the bottom, so that's where they have to stay. Or you can go 2 minus 8 is negative 6, and then drop it down just like we did here. Okay. Number 7 asks us to do this first. So the rule yesterday said to multiply, and the reason for that is you'd have 13a to the third, so a to the third, a to the third, 13 times, would give us 3 times 13, 39 a's. And these 39 a's would cancel 39 of these and leave us with just 1 a left over, a to the first. Over here, 18 and 12, both divisible by 6. So we're going to get 3 over 2 on that end. X to the 0 is 1. So this is just going to go away. Y to the 6 over y to the 6, those completely cancel out. That becomes 1, so that's gone. And if I go 3 minus negative 3, I get 6. So z to the 6th. Or another way of thinking about that is this negative 3 means these 3 z's should come up top. And then you could put those together to get that. All right, number 9. You've got an option here. You can multiply these together first and then try to simplify, or you can do some cross canceling. Probably the easiest at this point is to go ahead and multiply. So 4 times 9 on the top is 36. We'll have that x to the 8th, m to the 13th. On the bottom, 3 times 12 is 36. We got an m to the 11th, x. All right, 36 goes away. I got 1x on the bottom. That 1x will cancel one of these x's and leave us with 7 x's up top. And these 11 m's will cancel 11 of these and leave us with 2 m's on top. And so we end up with x to the 7th over m squared. Or like we said, we can go 8 minus 1, 13 minus 11, follow the rule that way. Over here, we need to do a simplification here. So the 8's just 8. 10 minus 6 is 4. So we end up with that. Then if I distribute, 5 times 3 is 15. X times x to the 3rd is x to the 4th. Minus 5 times 2 is 10. X times x is x squared. Now these two are like terms. They're both x to the 4th. So if I have 8 of these plus 15 more of them, I'm going to have 23 of those. I'm not going to change it from x to the 4th. I'm going to leave it x to the 4th. And then minus 10x squared. And the key here is to know when to stop, right? Those are not like terms. So even though we put some stuff together, again, it can get kind of confusing and you think you have to do something that you really don't. This is where we're going to stop right there. Okay. Over here, need to do this exponent first. So I need to take 2xy to the 5th 3 times. So if you were to do 2 times 2 times 2, that's going to be 8. X times x times x will be x to the 3rd. Y to the 5th, y to the 5th, y to the 5th will be y to the 15th. So I'm doing this 3 times, okay? Then I'm going to multiply it by the other thing on top. So that's going to be 3 times 8 is 24. X squared, x to the 3rd would be x to the 5th. Y times y to the 15th would be y to the 16th. Okay. Now I'm going to bring that bottom in. The 24's cancel, so that's nice. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. That would drop to the bottom. So those x's, 3 x's will be down there. Or you can think of these 5, knocking out 5 of those. Leave us with 3 left over. Then these 4 y's cancel 4 of those. Leave us with 12 left over up on the top. All right, then our last one asks us to do 2 things here. We need to put these together. So again, it's tempting to see 8 times 8, want to make that 64. That's not what we want to do here. We want to keep it. We have 5 8s times 10 8s. That'll be 15 8s there. And then here we multiply. That'll be 8 to the 16th. So these 15 8s cancel 15 of those, leave you with 1 8 left over, and it's on the bottom. That's how you do that worksheet.